Welcome to another program, Transforming Lives One at a Time. The program is aired every Saturday afternoon at 5:30. Of course, you can log on to our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I am your host, Dianne, always happy to be in your company as we bring you the programs that will inspire you, programs that are relevant, programs that will bring renewed hope to your life. You can feel free to send your comments if you have a question, or maybe you have a topic that you would like us to talk about. Feel free to send us a message and we will definitely try to fit in that topic. Today, as promised, we're going to continue with part 2 on the topic, relationship is serious business. Or maybe I should say extremely serious business. My guest once again is Karisa Samuel, who brings to the table over 12 years of experience as a guidance officer and a family life educator. She's passionate about equipping individuals with the tools they need to grow, thrive, and live purposefully. Her background in social and emotional learning fuels her expertise in personal development, where she empowers others. Whether coaching teens, leading workshops, or ministering one-on-one, Karisa is committed to seeing lives transformed. Ms. Samuel, Karisa, welcome once again to the program.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. Well, Karisa, the late, great Dr. Miles Monroe said that when the purpose of a thing is not known, then abuse is inevitable. And this clearly means that without a clear understanding of an object's intended function or reason for its existence, it will be used incorrectly, leading to abnormal use. So with that being said, my first question is, what is the purpose of this institution we call marriage?
Marriage mirrors God's union with us, the way God connects with us, the way God uses us. So Christ gave himself for the church. And this is to mirror man and wife, right? So as a married couple, you getting married is not necessarily just for your happiness and for your joy and for us to be a power couple for others looking at it. But it really is to do God's plans and God's purposes in the earth as a unified couple. The purpose of two people, the fact of two humans coming together in unity, it mirrors the way God works with us, right? And so marriage really isn't just for your own benefits. It really is not. And once we put that into context, we may make some different decisions, because it's not just about what I feel good about and what I feel good with and what makes me feel nice or look nice or make me the envy of other people. Some people think like that. It's not really about any of that at all. It really is for God's purposes and for his plans in the earth, in this time, in this particular era, what you and that other person, called by God, can do in the earth. And there may be some people here who may be looking on and they may not, fully subscribe to all of that.
Because of course we have a very wide audience.
A very wide audience, right? So they may not fully subscribe to that. It doesn't make it less true, but it can, what I mean is, it still is true because truth is truth and it doesn't change. And it should help you now inform what you do, Marriage is not just for you. It's an institution that was designed by God, right? And it's not just for you. It is for God to be able to use. As a tool, you all come together as a tool in unity and to be able to do powerful things in the earth because of the covenant.
And was it generational?
Yeah, all the generations that come after, right? All the generations that come out of your unity what you all are able to do, who you all are able to impact by your synergy and working together in harmony. What you all are, you can change the course of lives of children, not just who you make, who you are able to impact through what comes out of you all. It could be somebody being a coach for a football team, a basketball team. The wife then, she has a role in there. She could come to meetings as well and practice as well and support him and become a mentor as well. So married couples are powerful is a powerful mentoring unit, for young people and for single people and even other married couples they can look on. And married in Christ, you can be absolutely so powerful to change the course of society, of society, because you then impact other families. And as we have strong families, we can have a strong community and a strong nation. Yes, right? So, so
it's not something that should be entered in lightly, or just, if everybody getting married, let me just get married to you. You have to understand and recognize that it is for a purpose. It has been designed for a purpose. Yeah, and that's why I started with that from the late great Dr. Miles Monroe, because I found it to be so very appropriate to explain exactly that. If you don't know the purpose, obviously, you would misuse, you would abuse, obviously.
Yeah.
So that was very important.
Yeah.
Well, I want us to talk about leave and cleave, because many times you would hear in a marriage, okay, a man would leave his parents and now cleave to the wife, and then you sometimes wonder, okay, so when you leave, so you forget all about mommy, you forget all about daddy, you forget all about your other relatives. I wanted to bring some perspective on this leave and cleave and exactly what it means in the real sense of the word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so leave and cleave, it really speaks to you and your wife are becoming your own family unit. So you have technically left the old family unit. We haven't forgotten them.
Right.
We still know where they live. We still have their number. We're still going to call them and all that. But you and your wife are now building. You all are now a unit and building a new family home. And in the last episode, we talked about what are we bringing into this new home.
Yes.
Right? What are we bringing from those two other homes that we know of? We pull and we pick the best ones that we want, because we are intentionally deciding what are we bringing into this new home. So leaving is the man now just moving out from being sonship and everybody's providing for him and taking care of him, and he now is the husband and father of his own home. According to the Bible, he's the priest of his home, he's the leader of the home. I know society has seemed to kind of water down the power of a man and his effect in the home and his voice in the home, but it still stands true. When a man speaks, you feel it in the environment. And so as a man in your home, I want to empower all men. You have a voice. What you say in your family is supposed to bring direction, is supposed to bring correction. You're supposed to have that insight and foresight, where you can speak to situations and say, oh no, this is not the way we should go. Let's go this way.
Right.
I am not saying be dominant and everybody else just have to do what you
But the man
what you say.
is the leader.
Of course, you're the leader. And so man as leader, you give direction. Man as leader, you give encouragement. Man as leader, you give support. You have empathy. You have those things. So when you leave, you are now building a family home with your partner. As a woman, when you leave, you build your family home with your husband, right? And you all are building out your culture and building out morals and building out values, and you all are putting things in place for this new family unit.
Right. So it's at this critical time that in the early building process that you would now have discussions, okay, when the children come, what kind of parenting styles we would adopt, what exactly just to fine tune all these areas. As they get into this now, it's like they're coming apart and they're starting and building their own foundation for their family.
Yeah, and hopefully many people would have these conversations before they get married, because if we get married, we don't want to say we are now married and we are now thinking about how we should do parenting. You could have a really authoritative parent and then one who's kind of laissez-faire. We have a problem. Yes. We would always have a problem, and that could cause, so much imbalance in the home if children realize I could get away with you, but I can't get away with you. And then that brings division between the couple themselves, right? So having a talk about these things before, as topics come up, you could be sitting in the cinema or, traveling somewhere and you see a child misbehaving in the grocery. Yes. Bring up the conversation.
Of course.
Make a comment and hear the response.
In a situation like this, Hazi, for wifey, and there you could really find the solution or be able to realize, okay, well, yes, well, they will handle this in this manner.
Yeah, because a child carrying on like that in a grocery is because the child does that at home. Of course.
So beating the child mercilessly. Right. Because sometimes they don't practice it at home, but when they come out, they want to test you at home.
Sometimes. And sometimes then we resort to beating the child mercilessly, and that's not the way to go because it's not fair to the child, right? So then, so bringing up topics while you are courting, which is intentionally forming a relationship. Bring up topics. When you see things happen around you, say something about it or ask, what do you think about that? Bring it up and let a conversation. You're going to have multiple chances at church, at the grocery, driving on the street. You're going to have multiple opportunities to bring up topics, bring them up and hear what's happening. And so by the time you leave and we are building together, we can cleave, and the cleaving is becoming one, is the, unifying. Of course, it happens physically, but then in mind and heart and spirit through sharing experiences. When I'm telling you about my experiences, you're telling me about yours. We are living together. We are putting new routines in place for our new family life. We have a way we celebrate Christmas. We have a way we celebrate. Yes, we could come over to the other families and do things with them, but then we also know how we do ours.
Right.
And your new family home with your new husband and wife, it doesn't have to look exactly like the family you grew up in.
Yes, so building your own culture. We are pulling from
and we are building our own culture, our own family culture. Yeah. And so leaving and cleaving is incredibly important, because then it means it's you and that person working together. Yeah. Not necessarily mommy and auntie and granny and grandpa and everybody being a part of your marriage.
Yes.
You have that time away. So ideally, we know it's not ideal in all situations. Some people get married and still stay at home, which sometimes causes complications, because you feel like a man with a wife, or you feel like a woman with a husband, but you're still a child.
Yeah. Or mommy saying, well, I wanted you to make the pillow this way, and the wife is accustomed doing it this way. And
people don't get that space to be in that different time of life. So that time where you move and you leave and cleave is incredibly important for gelling and coming together and being your unit. You find your identity. The way we do things. And I think that's important for foundation.
Of course. Well, I want us to touch on the importance of premarital counseling. And I know this is a very huge area as a couple prepares for this life-altering decision, I would call it. Unfortunately, many couples place significant preparations for the wedding day, and don't get me wrong, please have an awesome wedding.
Yes.
I mean, you want to look your best, you want to shine, you want to just enjoy everything about that day. But more importantly is the preparations for that lifelong commitment, just weighing on that.
Yeah, I totally advocate premarital counseling, and I even advocate premarital counseling.
Okay.
Let me tell you what that is. So it is vital, it is beneficial for you as a dating couple to have like a mentor who is also a couple.
Okay.
That's going to be powerful for you. So they are looking into your lives. You all haven't talked about marriage yet, but we are serious about each other, and we know one day we want to get married. We are not yet engaged, right?
Yes.
That may be a year down the road. It could be 6 months down the road. We never know, right? But because we know we are serious, I think I really have found in you what I want, what will work well with me, what lines up with where God is taking me in my life and all of that. Let's get close to a couple. You might have a couple in church, you may have an auntie and uncle, you may have, sometimes we have older friends, you know, who we met at places we used to work and so on. It may not have to be official, like please be my mentor, right. Because many people don't know what to do with that.
Yes.
Right? But you may ask them if, we could come over and lime. So you and your boyfriend, you and your girlfriend, go over by this couple on Independence Day. Or you take them out for lunch, right. And you ask them like, how did they meet and how did they do things? And you just talk with them. And so you get to integrate them in your life.
Yes.
And they would start to inform things, situations where you may want to blow up or you think it's such a huge deal. The wife may tell you, shh.
Take it on a notch.
Don't say anything yet. Just look. And that wisdom is invaluable.
Yeah.
That wisdom could probably save your relationship. So the wisdom that people impart to us is important. So that premarital, so it's not official, premarital counsel, it's not an official thing. I just called it that for us to understand that you are intentional. Like I use that word a lot, being intentional.
Of course, you have to.
Being deliberate about what you are doing, because you are trying to build a relationship. You're trying to build something that can last. As with any building or any structure, you have to have plans, you have to have specifics, and you have to know what you're doing at what point, right? And so premarital counseling, I think, is important. Even if you, in particular, you may know you have gone through lots of trauma. Many people have experienced all kinds of trauma, in life, through childhood, teenage years, young adult, past relationships, and so you may need to officially go for therapy, pay for 3 sessions of therapy and go and get an objective third party who is licensed, who has studied in this area, and let them give you tips and strategies and steps and so for working through what you're doing and where you're going. It'll be very helpful. And of course, when you get to your person, you'll go into marital counseling where they talk about a lot of these topics that we have brought up.
Yes.
And definitely with premarital counseling, make sure you have a counselor. If you start and that person is not making you all talk about, what daily life is going to look like for each of you, and you get a real vision of what every day is going to look like, who is going to be cooking, who is going to be doing the groceries, who is going to be doing all these things. If you don't get anything like that, you probably should switch, because you really want to get into marriage, having an idea.
Yes, definitely.
Having an idea.
Well, what we're going to do, we're going to take the first short break and we will be right back. You're viewing Transforming Lives one at a time.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Storbay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters and yes, windows. Plus a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m. NSL School and Office Supplies for all your school uniforms, textbooks, stationery and craft supplies. Located obliquely opposite Stumpy's Bypass Canaan. Also offering printing, photocopying and much more. Give them a call today, 615-6595-477-5905, or email them at nslbookstore@gmail.com.
Do you need electrical and plumbing supplies from construction to finish? Then check out Voodoo's Enterprises Limited, Milford Road, Canaan, Tobago. Get LED bulbs and fixtures, septic tanks, water pumps, laminate flooring, press cut power tools, and so much more. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. Call 280-2050 or 660-4970. Boodoos Enterprises Limited.
Hi, I am Dianne, host of Transforming Lives One at a Time, and I would like to introduce you to our brand new segment, Good Vibes, Good News. And this is where you have the opportunity to highlight your good news. You can send your 90 seconds video to our WhatsApp number 868-701-2099. That's 868-701-2099. Let's hear some of the good news that we never hear about. Good vibes, good news. Inspiring hope. Celebrating wins. Truly grateful.
Welcome back, my guest today, Ms. Karisa Samuel. Karisa, I would like you to address having difficult conversations in marriage. Nobody likes having difficult conversation. Yes. What is the best approach to some of these uncomfortable situations that we just wish didn't exist and we didn't have to deal with? If we could just push it aside, but we can't because the problem will still be there. So what's the best way?
The best way to deal with difficult conversations, well, we have to choose the right timing, right? But I think you as a person, you need to have the right perspective and disposition. If I am coming to deal with, the situation is already difficult, it is already tense, we're probably on opposite ends of this discussion, which is why it is tense. We are in disagreement. We have a bit of a conflict. The way I start to have this conversation with you is crucial. If my first comment to you about it is, you see that my tone has gone up, my tone has gotten harsh, my tone has gotten critical, the conversation is not going to go well. We are going to end up with more tension, more anger than we did. Probably we didn't even touch the topic because all the person heard was the tone and we went left, right? So we have to look at our tone. We have to look at our startups. There's something called harsh startups and soft startups.
I had that a little later on, but go ahead.
Right? So that's how we deal with it. We have to look at how we start this conversation. We are not going to end well if we don't start well. If we start well, we have a good chance of airing some topics. We have a good chance of making some of our points that we want our partner to get and understand.
Right.
Because we are trying to make a decision about something, or we are trying to have something done, which is why it's difficult, right? Maybe you want somebody to stop doing something that is normal to them. Or maybe we need to make this decision, so we have to save some more money or whatnot, and the person wants to live their life. They don't see that as necessary. It's a conversation where you have to make your points. You have to think of where you want to end. Meaning, I want my relationship bond to be intact.
Right.
I don't want that person to feel disrespected. I don't want that person to feel disregarded. I don't want that person to shut down. I want them to hear what I have to say. So this means, although I have the weight of bringing this conversation up, this tense conversation, I have to manage myself.
Okay.
So this is why I said timing. I cannot be overwhelmed by the topic, by this tense disagreement, and come to talk to you when I'm tense. I have to relax, know to myself, we are going to get through this conversation and still be fine.
Yes.
We are going to get through this conversation and not be angry with each other, because we are going to be respectful. I'm going to take the responsibility on me. And sometimes we have to take the responsibility on us for the other person to learn how to come into that.
Okay.
Because this may be a new style of having conversation that you are trying, a new style of conversation that that person has never heard or understood before. So we are starting soft. You could ask permission. Because they may be watching TV. They don't want to talk right now.
Yeah. Timing.
They could be doing something else. They could just not want to talk about that because the last time we talked about it, so sometimes we could have a little preamble before we get into it. So remember last week when we started talking about so and so. I know we got angry and so on, but I didn't get to say what I wanted to say. I don't feel like I got my points across.
Okay.
You don't have to respond now, so you could release that person from having to respond and make a decision right now. You say, but I just want to have the conversation. Can we? So when you get a little buy-in, the person kind of opens up a little bit like, okay, all right, let's have the conversation. Or the person could say, I really don't want to,
right.
Because you cannot control yourself. And you say, listen, I know this is something I have to work on.
Yes.
Right? But this is also a conversation we have to have. Right? Because in marriage, there are going to be some unsolvable problems. There will be some solvable problems. Right? But this is something we have to talk about. All right, even if you don't want to talk about it now, you want to talk about it when your football finish.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it when you finish cooking.
Right. Okay.
So we get into that and have it. Yeah.
But what I'm hearing as well is, as we spoke about the timing, I'm hearing maturity. You have to be mature as a spouse to say, well, okay, I recognize that this may not be the best time. So it's a conscious decision. And also, as you were speaking, I was hearing humility, because the last time we tried to have this conversation, it went all over the place. So you now have to humble yourself. And these are traits that are so necessary if you are to have a successful marriage.
Yes.
Because maturity.
Mm-hmm.
He is upset now. He's cutting the yard. You can't come and the man now finish cut the yard. You wanted to, you said something last week. And you said me, I don't put water in my mouth to talk.
And sometimes you hear many people, many married couples talk about the woman waking him up in the middle of the night to talk about something that she has been boiling about. It may be quiet. The children may be asleep.
But he wants to sleep too.
He wants to sleep. It is not the best time.
Yes.
Right? And so, yes, it calls for a lot of self-discipline.
Yeah.
It calls for intentionality, because you are thinking about when is it. You are humble, and as you said, you are thinking about not when is the best time. I want to talk about it because it's boiling on my heart now. Not about me. When is the best time I could talk to this person about it? Why? Because I want them to hear me.
Understood.
I want their ear to be open. I want them to be able to receive. So if the person tells you no, put it aside. And I'll also say, to all those who listen, make your points. You can have a cheat sheet when you want to talk.
Yeah.
Nothing is wrong with that. And sometimes I find cheat sheets really work, because when you try to
leave out anything.
You don't leave out anything. And when you try to keep everything at the top of your head, you tend to jump here, jump there, jump there, jump there on all emotional stuff.
Okay.
As opposed to if you plan out what you want to say ahead of time, this is what you want to talk about, this is what you want to talk about. And you could manage it.
Yes.
That's
a very very good suggestion. Very good suggestion. I want us to jump into the issue of respect. And generally how some couples speak to each other and the kind of ripple effect this can cause.
Yeah. So back to the harsh starts and soft starts, that I mentioned earlier. Harsh starts can make somebody feel disrespected, because you may start off accusing me of something with your harsh negative words.
Yeah.
You may start off calling me a name. Hey, you see you and that, whatever you're always doing, right? That immediately puts people on the defensive.
Yeah.
It puts people on the defensive, and you're also signaling me that you are being disrespectful to who I am, to who I am as a person, to my qualities, when you're really trying to talk about something that I've done, right? And so it's important that we respect each other in relationships, and it's also important for women to know men feel loved when you respect them.
Yeah.
I don't think many women, even if they've heard it, they don't keep it at the top of their mind. When you disrespect him, he feels unloved. You could tell him you love him how much times, you could buy the biggest cake for his birthday and go on a vacation and do all those things. If you speak to him disrespectfully, disrespect him in public, undermine his authority in front of his children, in front of his family, in front of his peers, and you are disrespecting his masculinity, you are also letting him know how you feel about him in a man's eyes and in a man's mind. You have disrespected him, you don't love him.
Wow.
And that's really important for women to remember, because our mouths are very powerful. And we could string words together really very quickly. We could string a whole paragraph together and say what we want to say and not realizing that we are pulling down this particular person. You're not standing up for yourself. You are pulling down and disrespecting and emasculating this man.
Yeah.
Who is your man? Who you have chosen to be the leader of your family. Who, because you have married him, you have trusted him to give direction,
of course,
to your life and your family by the things he do and the things he says. So you're actually shooting yourself in the foot.
True.
By disrespecting him. It's not going to help empower him. It's not going to help to push him forward.
Yes.
And he's not going to feel loved. He's not going to feel closer by your disrespect.
Wow. I know that you have done some extensive studies on the John Gottman Institute. Just touch a bit on that and what some of the studies have revealed. It was very interesting.
Yeah, so John Gottman, he claims that he's not a relationship guru, right? He is not a relationship guru. He says that he has done lots of research, clinical research and so, on over 3,000 married couples. And what he has found patterns through couples over time. They have done longitudinal studies, mapping couples' lives and looking at their relationships over 20 years and so on. They have found kind of like a blueprint of stuff that happens. And so out of that, he has written many books. He also has the John Gottman Institute, and people can go and learn at regular couples. You can sign up for like online programs and so. I'm just saying that, right? And so in it, one of the really fascinating studies, out of the studies, they are able to predict with 93 to 94% accuracy a couple who's going to get divorced. If they watch this couple having a conversation for 3 minutes, they can predict with 93 to 94% accuracy that couple is going to get divorced. And here's how they did that. They invited some couples to come to their Gottman lab, they called it. So the Gottman lab is an apartment. Couples agree to come and stay for a weekend. Okay. They know they are going to be on camera. They know they're hidden. So the cameras are not out for them to see, but they know they're hidden cameras. They know, behind mirrors, there are people. They know that, right? And they've agreed to live their life out for just this weekend. And what they have found is couples who present with the 4 horsemen are couples who are going to end up in divorce at some time, especially contempt. So the 4 horsemen, as we know biblically, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which signal the end of times, the end times, right? So these 4 horsemen, John Gottman has used that same analogy to mirror. Once we see these 4 things show up, the end of the relationship is coming. The couple may not have decided that they want to get separated or any kind of thing like that, but because in their conversation these things are showing up, it is signaling that something is happening in them, between them. And so the 4 horsemen, they are criticism, And that's such a hard one because it's so common
Yeah.
and it's so normal for our conversation, the way we talk and the way we deal with each other. But yes, criticism, contempt, that's number 2. And contempt, just to break it down a little bit, is putting yourself on a moral high ground and talking down to somebody.
Okay.
Defensiveness, when maybe you have come from a family life where you were always attacked, so your response is always defensiveness, or your partner is always attacking you and you have to be defensive, so defensiveness. And number 4 is stonewalling. Think of literally building up stones between you and the person who is talking to you, so you can't
Yes.
deal with the situation. So those 4 horsemen, that is a concept that John Gottman has put together. And those are patterns that they pick up in relationships, in conversation. They pick up those patterns and they're able to predict with accuracy.
Wow.
90, that's almost 100%.
Yes, exactly.
They can predict divorce, yeah.
That is amazing. But that criticism, is it a part of our culture to just...
I have found that criticism is very prevalent. It's like, you said part of our culture, and I would kind of side with that a little bit because that's just the way we talk.
Yeah.
And I say this from the perspective, if we have to talk without criticism, we really have to stop and think of what to say and how to say it. So that tells us that criticism is kind of normal.
Yes.
If I'm trying to take criticism out, I have to stop, okay, wait. So I'm not bashing you about what you did. I'm not telling you about yourself. I'm not calling you any names. I'm not telling you how stupid that thing was or why you do that foolishness or what kind of thing. I'm not saying any, I am, right? So that in itself, because of the amount of mental work
Yes.
we have to do to figure out how do I address this thing, it tells me that, it is very pervasive, and we really have a lot of work to do so that we can barricade our relationships and we can put things in our relationships that will help to build it
Yes.
on firm ground. So many of us may not realize, just by those 4 things I talked about, those 4 horses, we may not realize that we are doing things and literally every day mashing up our relationships because we are breaking the bond between us and that person because of the criticism, because of the moral high ground and contempt, because of defensiveness.
Yes.
As opposed to, dealing with this
But
situation.
even as we talk about, because I'm thinking your husband probably just cut the yard. Mm-hmm. You're not satisfied with the job. You could never do nothing right, eh?
Yeah. Why you can't see that need to fix properly?
And when you
The
started
best-
like that, that man was probably up here and you just brought him right down to the ground.
Mm-hmm. And he probably didn't even want to do it, but he did it because he was trying to make you happy. And now he did it in the hot sun.
Yes. Yeah.
With the probably last bit of energy he had, but he did it because he wanted to make you happy.
Right.
And here still, you are still not happy. You are not happy, you are not satisfied. I am not saying don't address the situation.
Yes, but you have to know how to do it.
And so the soft start is where we can help to reword the sentence.
Yes.
Reword the sentence, rewire how we think about it. So, okay. So he did it, and he come a finished girl.
Yeah.
Immediately you see all the things. You don't start with that, with all the negative things that you see that he didn't do.
Yes.
But you should start with, oh gosh, thank you. I am so glad you did it. I know you're tired, boy, but you still did it. You could start with that. We are not being deceitful.
Yeah.
We're not being deceptive. You will get to it because you will still bring it up because it has to be addressed, but don't start with it.
Right.
That's what we're saying about the hard starts and the criticism.
Yes.
We're saying go with a soft start, which is saying something positive. This is not psychological mumbo jumbo. This is dealing with people and humans and making people feel bad all the time or like it's impossible to please you.
Yeah.
is not the best way to go about a relationship.
Of course.
He has no motivation to push aside his tiredness and do something the next time. So you could start with, boy, yes, and that sun was hotter. And let him talk a little bit. And I see you sweating.
Yes.
You could bring some water for him during the
Well,
thing.
I was just thinking a little Morby.
Right, bring some more. Bring some, right? Bring it. And I see you sweating, but you did it, boy. Right, I thank you. The place much cleaner now. You don't have to lie.
Right.
The place much cleaner now. Yes. Then you could ask the question, what about that thing over there?
Right.
You'd have to tell him, so you didn't see?
Yeah.
No, you don't have to raise your voice and tell him about what he didn't see. You could ask a question.
Yes.
He might say, I didn't see that in a girl.
Right. Next time.
Or he might say, I was now going to move that. I just wanted to catch myself.
Of course.
Right?
So these are practical ways for soft stuff.
Yes.
All right. Well, at this time, we're going to take another break and we will be right back. Stay with us. The conversation is going very interesting. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cell's Tile and Ceiling Center, Store Bay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cell's Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters and yes, windows. Plus a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cell's Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Do you need electrical and plumbing supplies from construction to finish? Then check out Voodoo's Enterprises Limited, Milford Road, Canaan, Tobago. Get LED bulbs and fixtures, septic tanks, water pumps, laminate flooring, press cut power tools, and so much more. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. Call 280-2050 or 660-4970. Voodoo's Enterprises Limited.
NSL School and Office Supplies for all your school uniforms, textbooks, stationery and craft supplies. Located obliquely opposite Stumpy's Bypass, Canaan. Also offering printing, photocopying and much more. Give them a call today, 615-6595-477-5905 or email them at nslbookstore@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the program. Our topic today, relationship is serious business. Part 2. All right, Karisa, we have to speak about this vital area, stonewalling your spouse. The silent treatment, speak to the hands kind of attitude. The rolling of the eyes, and of course, speaking into the camera for this one, and of course, you know, us ladies, I'm not saying you ladies, I'm saying us, myself included, the rolling of the eyes, things like that. Some partners would really shut down, they would just shut down or lock off. Let's talk about how these kinds of behaviors can seriously affect the relationship, because sometimes we take these things and we just look at it as, yeah, no big issue with that. But these kind of things are the little things that create monsters. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so stonewalling, you know, as I mentioned earlier, is kind of you putting up a wall.
Yes.
You don't want to hear what this person's saying. Maybe you don't want to have this conversation right now. And you decide to just blank them out. That's going to make the other person feel disrespected, make them feel unheard, make them feel ignored, like you just don't care. For the person who is doing the stonewalling, this may feel like a protective mechanism for you. As you grow up through childhood and teenage years, young adult, you probably learn to protect yourself that way by shutting out these things that you don't want to hear. So, you know, just to give you an indication of where your stonewalling may come from. But what it is doing to your relationship, it is actually weakening the bonds between you and that person. The fact that somebody is talking to you about something is because it is important to them.
Yeah.
And if I'm important to you, then you have to try to hear what I'm saying. So all these things work together. It is it can feel like a natural response to stonewall if all you hear is criticism and harsh, derogatory things, right? Because you need to preserve your sense of self.
Of course.
You need to preserve your well-being. You need to preserve, there is understandable that somebody can learn to stonewall and make that part of who they are and what they do.
Yes.
Because of it. But it is going to be detrimental to relationships. So for the stonewaller, you may need to speak up some more. A stonewaller may generally be someone who thinks they are keeping the peace by not saying anything.
Yeah.
Who thinks they're, and we could make that distinction again if we have time, right? Who thinks they are not contributing to the argument. When you're tired talking, you will stop, right?
Wow.
When you're fed up saying what you have to say, or you're saying this again, whenever you finish, you will stop. So they may have learned how to do that, but it is not helpful. What a stonewaller can try to do is now you have to speak up some more, as I was saying. So you say to the person, listen, I hear you. Sometimes that person just wants your attention, They have said something 2 times, 3 times. You putting up a wall doesn't help them. That person is trying to be heard.
Yeah.
That person is trying to feel comfortable. That person is trying to know that they're important to you. That person, they are glad you are here. They may not be saying that because they're arguing or saying something that you don't want, but they're glad you're here. So the stonewaller has to speak up a little bit more. State your case. If you don't want to talk now, say, I want to hear you, but I just can't talk right now. We could talk later.
Yeah.
The stonewaller could say, I really don't like these, when you come at me like this. You have to let somebody know what they're doing. I really don't like when you speak to me like this. For me to hear you, you need to talk a little softer.
Okay.
For me to hear you, you need to, let's try. So you are opening the door and you're kind of extending a hand for that person to work with you, for you to be able to hear them.
Right.
Because it's not just one way, right? The person began to stonewall for a reason, right? Maybe you have to do some reflection and be like, where did I get this from? I've always been doing this. It's not that this started with you in this relationship.
Okay.
I may have been doing this before. And if that's it, like, when did it start? Since I was small. What did it help me do? It helped me to just feel at peace. It helped me to not feel the anxiety. Because if parents are fighting in the home, a child could feel anxiety. So, I'm not in that place anymore. So you have some reflection to do as well. And you must talk to your partner so you could get out and let the partner know, I am going to be trying. It's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try. And what you hope for is for that person now to see your efforts, and, they may start to be a little less anxious when they're talking to you, So It's a two-way street.
And also, what about this blame shifting? Because I know we spoke about the criticism, we spoke about contempt, but blame shifting, or having persons think, well, no, but I'm not the one to be blamed in this. And
yeah, so that's defensiveness, right? Blame shifting. If sometimes we say, if you didn't do this, this wouldn't happen.
Right.
But it's not me. I only do this because, and we realize blame keep going back and forth. If our conversation is centered around blame, and sometimes we tend to do that a lot in our context, in our local context. We talk in blame, we talk in guilt and shame, and criticism. Those are the categories that lots of our conversations go around. And so somebody might come at you with blame, but you as the person, you are now, remember, you are trying to shift your relationship. You're trying to shift the conversations that you have. You're trying to shift the tone of the conversations. You as a person who's listening to this now, you're saying, I want my relationships to be better. I want my conversations to be better. You have the onus on you. The responsibility is on you now. So somebody comes at you with blame. You see the same thing? I told you, don't do da. You say, you have to respond. You can respond with defensiveness. You can respond with criticism as well. Or you can choose to respond with, okay, no problem, I hear you. But, so you can tell the person you hear them. That's a response.
Right.
I hear you. Can I explain what happened? Some people might say, I don't want to hear nothing.
Yeah.
Fine, you leave it alone. But I'm saying continue to take that position, because eventually the person might be like, what do you want to say? They might say it with attitude.
Yes.
But they may still say, okay, what do you want to say? You say, well, I just want to explain what happened there.
Right.
And then, not, because now you are trying to change the tone of your relationship. You're trying to get this person and people that you're dealing with into the fact that, wait, it have more in conversations. Or we can get through conversations.
Yes.
Or you can ask me questions about what I mean, why I did that, and let me understand. So we get a deeper understanding of each other. And hopefully, you know, mutual respect will work in there as we're doing the soft starts instead of hard starts, and not being defensive and blaming and all that kind of stuff.
So what I'm hearing is that there should be a greater consciousness to, even if you're already in the relationship, but there should be a greater consciousness for you to go on the way of soft starts as opposed to harsh. Because sometimes you would have some persons that really have some rocky relationships. Yeah. And the question is, how has that been working out for you? Because it's like stressful. It doesn't make sense. Exactly. It is stressful. Every morning you wake up, you're like, oh gosh, I have to deal with this today. Yeah. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. But as we begin to bring the curtains down on part 2 of Relationship is Serious Business, I would like you to highlight a crucial area that we did not touch on, or even reiterate something that was mentioned earlier that is definitely worth repeating.
Yeah. One of the first things I would say is you as a person, learn how to have tense, intense conversations. Learn how to have them. Don't just shy away from them. Don't just pretend that this particular thing is not happening because we don't know how to talk about it. Keeping the peace does not mean not talking about those things. Okay. Being able to coexist in harmony with your partner does not mean not dealing with those things. Learn how to have those conversations. You have to do reflection on yourself. You have to begin to edit how you speak. You have to begin to have a greater hold on your emotions and being able to identify them as they come up. The nervousness, the tension, the anxiety, the anger. You have to be able to have a hold on those things, because when you're like, okay, wait, I'm angry. All right. So then, so when you can say, when you note, I'm angry, you may have to say now, okay, let's talk about this later. Can we just stop for a little while and talk later? Because your view is to save the relationship. Your view is to constantly build that relationship, not break it, right? So we are talking about marriage, we are talking about stable relationships, we are talking about staying together and stability and, you know, longevity and that kind of thing. And so learning how to have those tense conversations without disrespecting the person, learning to have those conversations and come out at the end feeling closer to the person you were with. Isn't that successful? So we had a tense conversation because the topic, we are on opposite ends of the topic. So you have your points about it, I have my points about it. You have your core beliefs, I have my core beliefs. You have what you want to happen, I have what I have to happen. At the end of the time we are talking about it, we may not have a resolution. We may not have a solution. But you heard some more of my points, and I heard some more of your points. Maybe this time when I said that same point you heard the last time, maybe I give a little story about it, of something that happened. So you have a little more context about why it's so important to me. And you didn't change your mind yet, but we are closer because we had this intense thing and we came out of it. So that is what I want people to begin to start working around. Start learning how to have tense conversations. Don't just shy away. Because what is going to happen, you're going to begin to feel more confident in your relationship and about your relationship. It's not just going to break apart because of a topic. Right. It's not just going to break apart because of a tension. You are going to come out stronger, like, wow, we can do this. It gives you that inner motivation that we could have conversations and then still be good.
Yeah, not fly off the handle.
Not fly off the handle, not disrespect each other. Right. Because disrespecting each other leads into a whole host of strain on the relationship. Yes. After we had that conversation and we disrespect each other, we are now strained. So we have to come back into being good with each other. You know, it just
Yes.
takes too much time. So I really want people to work on.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, finally, give a word of advice to a couple who desires to really have a fruitful, loving, and rewarding marriage.
So to this couple, I would say, put God first. I would say, know yourself, meaning intentionally find out about yourself from other people, you know. Ask them about, you know, top qualities that are you. Listen to what people say. Work on it. Learn how, as I just talked about those crucial conversations, learn how to have not harsh, but tense conversations without running away. Because something is tense, you don't have to run away. Learn how to do that. Get close to a couple who you see have stood the test of time. They have gone through stuff. They have spent lots of years together. Learn from them. And be willing to adjust and adapt. And I would also encourage you all to work on projects together. When you work with somebody to build something, to create something, you would learn different parts of their personality, right? And those things are going to really help you all to build bonds, because those are the things that help couples to work together. Those things help couples to come into harmony and come into that unity and come into oneness, knowing each other.
Yes, well said. Thank you so much. Well, let me thank my guest, Karisa Samuel, for so proficiently handling this topic today. And one thing is clear, is that if we are to have fruitful and rewarding relationships, then there must be intentionality,
Yes.
commitment, and definitely effort.
Definitely.
It is only what we put in that we can get out. All right, so folks, that's how we wrap things up for today. Part 2 of Relationship is Serious Business. Of course, I must leave you with the definition of transformation, which is an internal shift that brings us into alignment with our fullest potential. Hey, we've got this. See you next time.